Steven Spielberg is back with a remake. It's always interesting to me now that some of these people who made some of the most iconic films of their time or of my youth, they do remakes. I mean, Scorsese did it with Cape Fear. Spielberg is doing it with this film I'm about to talk about, and others have as well. It's West Side Story. It's a remake of the original early 60s. I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm going to say early 60s. I want to say 60, 61. The original film by Robert Wise, based on the iconic stage play musical. And so I heard they were remaking, I heard Spielberg was remaking West Side Story, and I was like, that's a bad idea. There's no need. And then I started to see the trailers, and I was just like, it's been done. And I didn't think the male lead looked very interesting. But then it came out, and I had no intention of seeing it. And then friends started saying, actually, it's really good. And enough people whose opinions I trust said, you really should see this. So I'm like, hey, I've got the A-list. I've got the Stubbs thing. I'll go. It won't cost me anything out of pocket on the day. It'll reduce the overall amount that I paid per film this month. So I went and saw it. I was told, and I'll tell you if there's any chance, and there isn't, apparently the way to have seen this new West Side Story for the most visual and audio impact was to see it in Dolby Vision. A lot of big multiplexes now have their Dolby Theater. I went to see a Dolby Theater movie once. The sound was so loud, it was painful, and I walked out because I was afraid literally it was going to damage my hearing. So I've been really reluctant to see it this way, and I really wish I had now. To cut to the chase, I liked the new West Side Story, but apparently if you see it in Dolby Vision, the sound was mixed for that, so the sound is a lot better, and apparently the visuals really are like stunning and vibrant if you see it. So if you're interested and you haven't seen it yet, and for some reason this film hasn't been pushed out of your Dolby Vision auditorium by Spider-Man and Sing 2, which is what's happened everywhere around here. I actually looked for like a dozen different theaters in this near New York City is where I am now, and no dice. So I saw this regular, which is how most of you are going to see it. So what is it about? You got the Sharks and you got the Jets. You have these two groups. It's early 60s, New York, right in the thick of things, right in New York City. So you have the Caucasian, mostly I think Irish Italian-based Jets, who are a street gang, and you have the Sharks, who are Puerto Ricans, who are new to the neighborhood. And the Jets feel like the Sharks and their people are taken over. They feel like everything that used to belong to them now belongs to these Puerto Rican people, and they don't like it. So what do they do about it? They dance about it. They fight and they stab each other and they beat the crap out of each other, but they also sing and dance stylishly while they do it. And they sing songs with words that rhyme. Original West Side Story, uber classic, untouchable. So, as I said, going into this, I was really dubious, but I had heard good things. So I'm like, yeah, let's see what Spielberg has to offer. And what he has to offer is a remake that is, it's the same songs, the same words, some of the same dance moves, I think, same setting, but it's really well done. So this is one of those things where I say, for a film that never needed to be made, it was pretty good. So you have Ansel Elgort as, just a little key here, anytime you see a quick dissolve when I do these, it means I screwed up and I had to look at my notes, which are right over there. So you have Ansel Elgort as Tony, originally portrayed by Richard Beymer in the original film. And you have, those little fades I was talking about. You have Rachel Zegler as Maria, portrayed by Natalie Wood in the original film. You also have, actually from the original film, you have Rita Moreno. And she plays the elderly Puerto Rican woman who runs the, I want to say convenience store. It's not what it is. It's a drugstore. But in the old days, a drugstore was like, you could get everything at the drugstore. She plays the woman who runs that, and it gives a job and lodging to Tony, who has come back from prison after knifing a guy in a fight. Tony has changed his ways. He doesn't want to run with the Jets anymore. He's got no beef with the Puerto Rican people. He's mended his ways, and he goes to a dance as a favor to some friends where the Jets are gonna tell the Sharks, so we're gonna rumble and settle this once and for all at a certain time. And what do you know? He meets a girl named Maria and he falls in love. Therein lies the story. If you haven't heard it before, the story of West Side Story, it's Romeo and Juliet with street gangs and music. It's the two families, the two groups, two different racial groups who can't stand each other. They all just want a piece of the pie, like the Jeffersons did, without anybody hassling them or without the other ones getting in their way. And star-crossed lovers who are on the wrong side of the tracks from each other, and will their love survive all of this violence and hatred? Performances in this are really good. Ansel Elgort, I've seen in other things. I wasn't quite sure. He still seems a little. He could be a wonderful person, or not, depending on what some people say. He seems a little bland to me. Zegler is wonderful, and everybody in this is really good. The woman who played here's where you get another little dissolve. Ariana Debose, sorry if I mispronounced that, who plays Maria's sister-in-law, is excellent. She is the girlfriend of the leader of the Sharks, the tough guy, and she's a firecracker, and she's excellent. And as many have said, I'll tell you a little story. As many have said, Rita Moreno is really good in this, and so it's not going to be gross. So I'm in the men's room at the local AMC that I go to a lot, and I've just seen. I don't know what I've just seen. I just saw something. I'm in the bathroom. I think I just saw Nightmare Alley. I'm in the bathroom, and I overhear two men at urinals, older than me, going, Rita Moreno is fantastic. And she's like 91. So two men at the urinal were already telling me how good Rita Moreno was in this film before I even saw it. Rita Moreno is excellent. Cinematography is excellent. Wonderful use of color on occasion. Really good choreography. They do credit the original choreography of the original stage production and or film. So I'm not sure how much of the choreo. Here's the deal. I've seen the original West Side Story a few times. I saw it on film at the Mahoning Drive-In Theater in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, a year or so ago. So I've seen it, but it's not like fresh in my mind. So I really couldn't tell you how close a remake this new West Side Story is of the original film. I don't know. I know things are different. I do remember. Some of the scenarios are different. A certain song takes place later in the film and in a different context than it did the first time. But this is a really well done flick. So if you're somebody who can view a remake as you would a Broadway revival, which some people say that, Shakespeare plays have been done 100 times in every town with a million different cast members, and they're legit. Why should it be different with a movie? Well, I could argue as to why it would be different with a movie, but if you want to view this as, hey, it's another revival production, you might have an easier time with it. I've been told that some aspects of this are identical to the original film. I really don't remember. I went in, when I do these reviews, I always say all this stuff to sort of speak to the people who are in the same boat that I was. If you've never seen the original West Side Story, you're going to take this movie for what it is, and you got nothing to compare it to. If you're a mega fan of the original, you may see this and go, yeah, I already have one of those. Or if you're a casual like me, you can appreciate, and anybody can appreciate it, but you may appreciate it like I did, which was the songs are great. The performance in this are really good. The singing in this is really well done, and the dancing in this is really well done. And it was just a really entertaining couple hours at the movies. So I guess that's my take on West Side Story 2021, is that it was really well done. Is it necessary? Not really. Some say the greater purpose of a remake is to present this story or this material to an audience that wouldn't accept the original, and I can get that. I think you're going to get a lot more people of a certain age going to see a movie because it's Ansel Elgort in it, and you wouldn't hook them with Richard Bamer from 50 years ago. Sorry, Rich. So it is what it is. I thought it was good. West Side Story 2021.